This is the New American Media.
Live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, third rock from the sun, that is. North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Agree to Disagree on the New American Media. My name is Brian Engelman, and I'm going to be your host yet again. What is this, the 28th month in a row I've been your host? I don't know, something like that. Whatever the case may be, thank you for following us. Thank you for checking out what we're doing. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. Real quick, just want to make sure that in between our radio shows, you know how to find us. Go on Twitter. We're at American_media_. Go on Facebook, search The New American Media. Go to thenewamericanmedia.com, check out all of our archived content, and check out youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia, and subscribe. Join the 111,000 or so that have already done that. It's really cool. It's nice seeing all these sites grow, and it's a slow burn. But it's a good thing. So thank you to each and every one of you that have been checking out what we've been up to over here at the New American Media. And without further delay, I want to bring in special guest Blake Walley to the program. We're going to do a quick top news story extravaganza, bonanza, buffet, fiesta, siesta, what have you, because we only have a limited time with Blake, and we're going to get all of his insight on the Michael Hastings latest developments, more on Glenn Greenwald, Edward Snowden, the NSA, the hard drives that were destroyed at The Guardian, Glenn Greenwald's partner being detained in England, a possible race war and this thing going on in Oklahoma. Just lots of murders. We'll talk about it. Bradley Manning wants a sex change now. I mean, does the soap opera ever stop? Whatever. That's why we'll bring in Blake. We'll break it all down in his Blakedown. That'll be the segment today. So let's get him on the program.
Hello.
Hey, so you're on the Blakedown is what I called this segment. I just said you're going to break these stories down. I said it's the Blakedown. We've talked about this before, but now it's official. This is the first Blakedown session that we've had. How do you feel?
Nice. I'm honored.
Fantastic.
I don't know what to say. Overwhelmed.
Well, if you don't know what to say, let me say that you're a radio host and people should check you out. You do a show on freedomizerradio.com, and it's called Eccentric Perspective. It's on live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific, and you can sign up for the podcast by searching Eccentric Perspective and signing up for that podcast so you get that delivered. So let's jump into the top news stories of the week, shall we? I want to start with this Oklahoma shooting. This thing has bothered me for many different reasons, obviously. And I don't know if we want to start with the tweets or what, but let me just hand it to you and get us caught up to speed with the details of what happened, what we're learning today, and some of the problems we're seeing with the coverage of the story.
Well, it's kind of it's a disturbing story I haven't spent a lot of time on, but it's obviously a major news story, mostly just because of the hypocrisy. Well, it's still a major story, regardless of the what we'll get into. But so an Australian baseball player was here in Oklahoma, and he was seemingly, I don't know if it was randomly or you just kind of gunned down by three young teenagers as part of a potential, some are saying it's a gang initiation by the infamous Crips gang over in Duncan, Oklahoma. So,
and people are saying too that this is, historically now we're looking at this very shortly after the Zimmerman self-defense verdict came in, and these are three individuals that look like Obama's son if he had a son. Is kind of, I mean, let's face it, that's what's going on here. This is two black men, and I don't know, the third person is either white or, what did you say on your show? Looks a little bit like Blake Griffin. I don't know. Whatever the case.
We're having a really rough connection here. Can you hear me okay, Brian?
Yeah.
I'm having a bit of trouble with you.
Yeah, quick glitch, but you're back. You got me?
Kinda. You're kind of cutting out there, but I'm trying to follow you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Sounds a little bit better.
All right, good. Yeah, I was just saying, President Obama jumped into the fray and said if I had a son, Trayvon Martin would look like me, and instantly started fanning the flames. And a lot of civil rights leaders were calling it racist, despite the fact that Zimmerman was mentoring young blacks in his neighborhood, trying to help people whose fathers were, I think one of the kids' fathers was incarcerated, and someone had a broken home, and he was trying to help, the neighborhood, and there were burglaries in the neighborhood. And it looks, all the evidence presented at trial looked like he was attacked by Trayvon Martin, but for some reason that was painted as racist. For Zimmerman, the white Hispanic, a new coined term, something that didn't exist until the media got a hold of it, until NBC started doctoring the tapes to make it sound like he looks suspicious, he looks black, but that's not what he said. They edited the content down. And now this one, yeah.
Well, they should. Yes, the black leadership, the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons and the people that drummed this whole thing up should have, after the Zimmerman trial, after it became proven that Zimmerman was found not to be a racist, they should have been out, warning the people that look up to them and follow their leadership, and they should have said that this is not a race thing; it was an unfortunate accident. The justice did their thing, whether you agree with the outcome or not. They should have come out and at least got the facts straight. But instead, you've got a lot of misinformed people out there that were just outraged by the verdict because it didn't fit the narrative that this was a big racist, profiling, hate crime. And so now, as a result of that, you've had, I guess you could call it some kind of a blowback, if you will, maybe, if that's the correct term here. But, and in some ways I almost think that there's blood on the hands of people like Al Sharpton, who should have come out and done the right thing. But now you're seeing silence. You're seeing the hypocrisy here of now you see a white guy being just gunned down, and whatever, it's a couple of black youths at least, and whatever, the other one's not important. The main thing is that they just gunned down an innocent man.
Well, you know what? Hold on. But MSNBC says it's important because I've seen some of these panels and they said, well, there was a white person in the car. No, it couldn't have been racist. Okay. There was a white person in the car. So I guess it does matter. Crime.
But then you look at the guy's tweets.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get to the tweets because I have this pulled up here. Christopher Lane. Murder. Some of these racist tweets. This James Francis Edwards, one of the three teens charged in the killing of Christopher Lane, posted racist tweets on his account, according to a new report. One tweet from him reads, quote, 90% of white people are nasty. Hashtag hate them. End quote. And yet another reads, I don't even know how
I knocked out 5 woods, which is another, I guess it's a racist term for white people. I've never heard of that.
Is that supposed to mean Peckerwoods? I've heard someone say.
I knocked out 5 of these whiteys since the Zimmerman. I don't want to. Go ahead.
Yeah. It says I knocked out 5 woods since the Zimmerman court. So since Zimmerman, he's taking it out on white people. He says he's knocking out 5 white people, and then they go and shoot some Australian who's over here playing baseball. Now, I didn't see a single tweet from George Zimmerman saying, okay, here, let's set the stage.
Well, Brian, I'm having a serious connection issue here. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble
let me do this.
Up on you.
No, let me do this. I'll call you right back. We'll get Blake back into the program. Try to get a better connection here. But, I mean, could you imagine?
Greetings.
Yeah, greetings, and welcome to Eccentric Perspective.
I'm still having trouble with your connection. Or I don't know if it could be mine. I have no idea.
Do you want me to try you on your cell phone?
Are you sure it's my connection or yours?
I have no idea.
I'm on my landline now, but.
Yeah, we'll try one more time.
You can call me on my cell if you want. Go ahead.
All right, we'll do that. We'll get Blake back into the program. Thank you, NSA. Appreciate the appreciate the love you're giving me with the reception. Good times. You don't like the truth? You can't handle the truth. Ah, well. I'm gonna try again.
All right, greetings.
Hey, so I have you. I can still hear. I've heard you fine the whole time. You're saying you've had a hard time hearing me. Can you hear me any better, sir?
I can actually hear you much better now, oddly enough.
Yeah, no, you sound worse, but whatever.
I know.
Good times.
Right. No, I sometimes have trouble with this cell phone sometimes. I don't know why. Just in certain areas of my house. Who knows? Hello, NSA.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Thank you, NSA. You don't like the truth. You can't handle the truth. Anyway, but here's the truth. Let's just imagine had George Zimmerman, prior to not being attacked and defending himself, because you referred earlier that the Trayvon Martin thing was a tragic accident. No. I mean, if he was attacked, that wasn't an accident. That was a dude defending his life. Zimmerman did not attack him. Well, he should have stayed in his car. He didn't attack him. None of the evidence bore that out.
You're correct, yes.
Could you imagine if George Zimmerman was tweeting this out on his profile?
Yeah.
Saying these things where Zimmerman says, the white Hispanic, according to some in the media, if Zimmerman was tweeting out 90% of black people are nasty, hate them. And then another, I knocked out 5 black people since, I don't know, O.J. Simpson's verdict. I don't know. Think of something that's racial. I don't know what to put in there. But if that stuff was on Zimmerman's account, you would go, whoa, this dude's off his rocker. This guy, kind of like that dude on the Eagles, the one at the concert, dropping N-bombs. You're like, whoa, buddy, what is, no good.
Yeah. And so now we're seeing the hypocrisy now by the media that was all drummed up like they were the moral authority, like exposing all these dangerous racist profiling, black people and all this stuff, and now silence, absolute silence on this. And of course we have that's just part of the I want to dovetail this right into the latest victim, Delbert Belton.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get to the latest victim, let me just say this, because instead of the media talking about this black on white crime, this is a month after the Zimmerman case, and this dude that murdered this white guy is knocking white people out and saying 90% of white people are nasty and he hates them. This is a hate crime. And I've hated the word hate crime my entire life. If you hate someone enough to murder them, you hate them. Every crime is a hate crime. If you're going to murder somebody, you hate them enough to murder them. It's such a redundant phrase that grants special rights to certain groups. It doesn't make any sense to me. You hate, you hate. You kill, you kill. You hate, so you kill. There's no difference. But what some in the media are doing here, I just want to bring this up before we get to the other victim, because I want to put a disgusting bow on this horrible lump of coal Christmas present here. It's a horrible story, but I got to put a bow on it, because Australia's former deputy prime minister, name of Tim Fisher, he's urging citizens to boycott travel to the United States after the slaying of Christopher Lane. He says, quote, "You are 15 times more likely to be shot dead in the USA than you are here in Australia. There is murder mayhem on Main Street, USA every day of the week, but you hide from that." Fisher slammed U.S. lawmakers for turning a blind eye to sensible gun control and lashed out at the NRA for using the Second Amendment as a shield against it. Well, yeah, that's what it is. He said, quote, "You let your congressmen and senators escape and dance around the bush when it's very real circumstance supported by the NRA. I've been to Philadelphia Constitutional Museum. I've looked at your Second Amendment. I don't believe your Second Amendment provides for semi-automatics or automatics in the suburbs. This is why Australians and anybody else should think carefully about traveling to the USA until you start to make a move on gun and firearm sensible control." So, this is the narrative.
Idiot, yeah.
This is the narrative the left wants to do. They want to, pardon the pun, but they want to whitewash this. They want to not talk about race when the murderer is specifically saying, since the Zimmerman trial, I'm knocking out white people before they kill a white person. This guy wants to turn it to, hey, let's violate the Second Amendment. Let's subvert the Constitution and not talk about race problems in the country, Blake. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, the guy's a complete idiot, doesn't understand. He's completely ignorant. They always play this thing about, the shooting thing. Well, we banned guns, so there's not a lot of guns in Australia, so it's an irrelevant point. And it also completely ignores the fact that their violent crime is far higher. Same with England, same with a lot of these countries that talk about how, we banned guns, and guess what? There's no shootings. Well, look at your violent crime is like 4 times higher. But, yeah, your shootings are down because you don't have any guns. It's the most stupid argument you could possibly make. Just ignorant and dumb, and that's got nothing to do with this. Yeah, the point is where are these, who are these gangs recruiting a bunch of high school kids, and how did these kids get their hands on these guns? I don't know where these guns came from. Did they actually get them from, a gun? I don't know. See, that's where I'm having an issue here. Rather than demonize everybody that's a law-abiding gun owner. So who's putting these guns in the hands of these teenagers?
Well,
what's this part of the Crips here? Why can't we go after them? And instead, we're just going to demonize the entire Second Amendment as a whole.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable, but let's dovetail it into the other component, because there was another recent murder, black killing white, because this is all we heard with Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. Oh, Skittles and iced tea. Not that this guy, is flicking off the camera, rocking the thug lifestyle. All the evidence says he attacked George Zimmerman, called him a cracker. The only race comment in that case was Trayvon Martin using a derogatory term to talk about this half-Hispanic guy as a cracker, clearly not liking people that don't look like him, but somehow that white Hispanic's the racist. There's another story now that you're going to bring up that this recently just came out.
Yeah, so this is in Spokane, Washington. I believe this happened yesterday. An 88-year-old man, a little 88-year-old man, and they even had a nickname for him that was like saying, yes, he wasn't like a big dude or anything. So his name is Delbert Belton, and he's a World War II veteran who actually took a bullet in the leg during the Battle of Okinawa. This is a war hero, pretty much. And he gets just senselessly beaten to death by two young black youths.
Wow. So maybe that Australian former Prime Minister, Tim Fisher, maybe he could reconsider that he should have the right to conceal carry as an old man who might not have the strength of... how old were the suspects who allegedly murdered this man?
I don't have that.
But they were young. They were young kids. And this guy was in Okinawa. He's 70 or he's an old gentleman.
88 years old.
I'm sorry, I was way off. I missed when you said that a second ago. 88 years old. So yeah, Tim Fisher.
Yeah, what a bunch of tough guys. Yeah, you're gonna beat up on an 88-year-old man. And of course, there's a great comment on the bottom of one of these stories. This big viral story. One of the respondents said, if this had been two white kids beating up an old black man, or black dude, it says, it would be all over the national news. Yeah, could you imagine MSNBC right now with Al Sharpton and that goofball Tory, whatever his name is, just absolutely going nuts over this stuff. And just racist. I mean, you could just imagine how this would play out. But instead, nothing but silence.
Yeah. So what are we talking about Delbert? What about David Santucci as well? This was another one.
This is one I just heard about while reading this. It's an excellent article on InfoWars. It's going super viral. It's written by Paul Joseph Watson.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tweet this out. By the way, I'm gonna send this out. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's called "Is the Media Covering Up the Beginnings of a Race War?" But let's see here. So the national media is also largely ignored, and I haven't heard this either until today. What could be the most shocking story out of all three? The apparent Trayvon revenge killing of David Santucci in downtown Memphis by three African Americans. And according to Santucci's brother, police are covering up the fact that the murder was a racist hate crime and that Santucci was killed because he was white in revenge for George Zimmerman's acquittal. Now, although authorities claim the murder was motivated by robbery, nothing was taken from Santucci. He still had his wallet, his keys, and his cell phone on him after being shot. So, and then the media is saying that it was a robbery. Something is wrong here. They just don't want to admit it. But the weird thing is if it was white on black crime, you can better believe it would be all over the place. It wouldn't. It would be going on for months.
Well, they list in this article that the crime statistics drawn from the Justice Department and the FBI figures show that blacks are an estimated 39 times more likely to commit violent crime against a white person than vice versa, and 136 times more likely to commit robbery against a white person than a white person committing a crime against a black person. And we heard for nothing but a year straight about Zimmerman and race, and if I had a son, it would look like Trayvon Martin. And then these stories are going on all the time, and the media is silent. If anything, they want to try to infringe on the Second Amendment. Oh, see, there was a gun. Got to take guns away. Oh, yeah, so all the bad guys can keep attacking innocent people. some Australian baseball player taking a jog. Oh, I'm sure he really had it coming. I'm sure that guy really had it coming the way he was jogging it like that. I mean, come on. I mean, so...
You're telling me that the authorities couldn't crack down on these people?
Hang on, Blake. Hang on, Blake. You gotta move the phone. Try that again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's amazing that they can't do anything about this. They can't go and target these Crips gang members. They can't find out why are they initiating these kids. This has been going on for how long? And it's just outrageous. You'd have to think that they'd be able to do something and prevent this kind of stuff from getting into the communities. But yeah, there's a major problem, and they need to start cleaning up this culture and get rid of the gangster thug culture. I mean,
we know that
we had our fun in the '90s with the gangster rap and stuff like this, but now it's just getting too far. It needs to be. We need to flip the script here.
Okay, I just got a tweet from Monty Mathis saying to us. By the way, on Twitter we're at American_media. Follow Blake. He's at eccentric99. But this Monty says at American_media_. Monty says Stevie Wonder could see the race war that Obama has pushed for and forced onto all Americans. Okay, well, I've felt it since the Cambridge police acted stupidly. Remember when he jumped into the middle of that and had no facts? I mean, we're going back a few years now. But
I love Stevie Wonder and his music and stuff, but he's also called for boycotting the state of Florida over the Trayvon Martin verdict too. So I like the comment though.
Do we know that Oklahoma shooting was gang related? Has that come out yet? Because I keep hearing it, but I haven't seen.
There was another article I picked up from Anthony Gucciardi that was talking about that. It looked like it was part of a gang initiation into the Crips.
Wow, that's classy. Keep it classy, Americans.
Hell's Angels. You got to go find somebody you got to go find some random Cripper to kill so you can join the gang. This is in Duncan, Oklahoma. Now I don't really know where Duncan is, but this isn't 95 LA. It's really sad that this is happening. This has got to end.
Well, I'll tell you what. We only have a couple minutes. I've been just burning to start talking about this story because just the hypocrisy of hearing nonstop about a very the FBI statistics. It's very rare that things like this happen. That people, was it Oprah Winfrey compared the Trayvon Martin thing to Emmett Till? I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I studied Emmett Till in school. That was horrible. This was self-defense from somebody that got jumped. I mean, it's not even the same. And it's such a rare occurrence that this stuff happens where everyone wanted to just blame, just wanted to find blame and finger point and use it as a political tool and divide the nation instead of unite us. And all of these stories, these horrible, disgusting stories are being avoided. You know, for how many years? For a year and a half, you saw Trayvon Martin pictures that were 5 years old. Not the ones with gold teeth and flicking off with his middle fingers out. Not the tweets where he's sending stuff out. I don't know if you've seen the video where allegedly it was Trayvon Martin in an MMA-style backyard schoolyard fight.
Yep.
You didn't get any of that information. You didn't hear about all the break-ins. You never heard about all the break-ins in that neighborhood. You never heard about Trayvon Martin getting suspended from school. You never heard about him getting suspended for weed. You never heard about him getting suspended and allegedly, and the school can't release the information, but it's been reported that there was stolen property reclaimed from his locker. I don't know if that's true or not. That didn't come out. I didn't see that evidence. But you didn't see the other side of him. You just saw an angelic 5-year-old picture, not a tall dude in a hoodie that attacked some guy on the sidewalk, and he had to defend himself. And then all these stories that are crystal clear, clean cut. This guy
where's
sent
the retraction from Al Sharpton? I don't know, Brian. Do you think that, agree or disagree? Do you think Al Sharpton has blood on his hands for these 3 killings that we just talked about? Because he would not retract and get to the truth on the Zimmerman thing.
And Spike Lee, I agree with that. Spike Lee, who was sending out the alleged address of George Zimmerman, and these people saying, "Let's go get him. Let's go get him." They wanted a lynching over this.
Could you imagine if that would have happened? Yeah, it would have been some serious.
George Zimmerman still has to live a life. It could still happen. Yeah. And that's the horrible part of this. This president is not a leader. Innocent. He's a divider.
And these kids, they don't know the facts of this case. They just want to believe the narrative that's in front of them. But they might actually listen to Al Sharpton if Sharpton went out and tried to, retract some of the statements and get to the truth. And this stuff could probably stop. But that's not what he's doing.
Well, that's not what they want. It doesn't get money flowing into their coffers to siphon off, to feed their plush lifestyle and promote a narrative that this country is horribly racist, always has been, always will be. We need special treatment.
Florida wasn't an apartheid state, or how do you pronounce that word?
Apartheid?
Yeah, apartheid state, like old South Africa. I mean, you just can't make that stuff up. Sickening.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. We only have a couple minutes left. I'm not sure if we want to just buzz through all these stories or just pick our favorite. But real quick, make sure you're following Blake on Twitter. He's at Eccentric99. Follow us. We're at American_media_. I am Brian Engelman. You're listening to Agree to Disagree here on the New American Media. And, we'll come back. We're going to come back, and we're going to cover a couple that was pretty interesting, wasn't it? We're going to come back, cover a couple different stories. I don't know. Do you just want to cover one of them? Because I think we only have you for like 10 more minutes. You just want to dig into one of these stories?
Yeah, 12, 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go to Greenwald, Snowden, NSA, the hard drives, the partner being detained. There's a lot of information there, and if we can get to Chelsea Manning and Michael Hastings, so be it. We'll be right back on the other side. This is Agree to Disagree.
You are listening to the New American Media.